Hi, welcome to So Sensible. Today we're going to make a peekaboo bag. And these are fun little bags to put stuff in. You could put toys, you could put your scarves or whatever. It's a great way to see what you have inside of the bag, and then you can kind of hang it up on a peg in your closet or whatever. And all right. So one of the things about me is I like to upcycle as much as I can. So I'm going to be using some swatches from couches or upholstery or whatever you want to call it that were given to me. One of the things with swatches, they usually come with a label, so you just want to seam rip that off, and they're really easy to seam rip because they've got that nice paper to guide. Okay, so the different thing about these bags is that it wouldn't be normally what you'd think to insert it. You would think you'd cut this in half and then you would insert the clear vinyl right in the middle. You don't want to do that. You want to off-center it. So first thing, I'm going to get these off of here. And then this is my center. So you'd think you normally want to do that. I'm going to go a little bit above it. The lines really help to differentiate it. Also, this is your bottom of your bag, which you wouldn't think, but it is. So you want to take the vinyl with the paper on the opposite end, and sometimes you got to pin the paper to it so it doesn't shift off. And you want to put the pretty to the plastic. And you're just going to leave that paper right there. It's really going to help smooth it through. Now what you're going to do is, instead of ironing it, we're just going to throw a stitch right here to kind of force it down, and it's also going to reinforce the stitch or the seam right here that's kind of fraying. It's going to help reinforce that area so it won't unravel. So you may have noticed when I introduced this, I didn't give you any measurements for the bag. It's kind of like figure it out as you go. In this situation, this is the backing of the bag, and you want to have your backing bigger than your initial swatch for the front because you're going to be putting a piece of plastic in. Now is when I would measure it to see that it will actually fit in here. And by luck would have it, I did measure it right. So I'm going to sew, let's put it over here. So as you can see, it looks like it matches up just about right. And I'm going to sew this to that. And just like we did with the other one. All right, so now you have the 3 pieces sewn together. And at this point, you're going to go ahead and take the paper out. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take the pretty side and you're going to put it face down on this. And what I recommend is you pin down your bottom of your bag because you can always cut off the top if it's uneven. Now remember, when I'm pinning here, I'm going to be careful about where I'm putting it. I want to make sure it goes where I'm going to stitch. That way it won't be noticeable. Now if you find that the vinyl is having a hard time going through your machine at this point, you can bring a piece of paper back and just feed it through the machine like that, and it will help guide it. So you're just going to start from one side, go all the way around, and what I'm going to ask you to do is to just leave about 1 to 2 inches up top unsewn. So we're going to start it about there. I'll show you down here. So we're going to start it on here because we're going to put our casing here. And we're going to have a ribbon coming through there. Well, the exciting thing about this is with the upholstery swatch, the edges are pretty much finished off. So you could just finish off the ones where you remove the tag, and then you're ready to go. Okay, so remember when I told you to leave this open? What we're going to do, and the fun thing about this again, is that it's already finished on the edges. So what we are going to do is essentially the same thing you would do for a zipper. Is you are going to stitch this down. So what you're going to do is you're going to sew down here, over here, up here, just like that. And it's going to give you a kind of finished edge look. All right, can you see that? Let's see. Just kind of goes up one side and down the other. So now you're going to work on your casing. And you can see with this one, I just kind of folded it down, but I have this opening here because this is where your cord's going to come out. So just like you would do with pants or any kind of thing that you'd use casing for, you're going to fold this down. You're going to fold this down like a 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, whatever you want, and then you're going to fold it again. And in this situation, we're folding it until we get to the crease. And then you're going to just pin it right there. Okay, so I've done my casing, as you can see here. This is what it's going to look like. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get a ribbon, or in my case, I like to pick these bias tapes up at yard sales and then sew them together, and they make a pretty great tie. And you're going to put a large safety pin on there, and you're just going to walk it through. Okay, you've got your ribbon through, and you're actually going to, well, you can sew it if you wish, but you don't need to. All you have to do is tie the two of them together with a knot. And you can do a double knot if you want it. If you want to get really fancy, you can make it a loop or something, or you could, tie it to some kind of ring. And we'll flip it inside out. That's the exciting part, right? All right. This is kind of a longer one, but it still gets the job done. And you have another peekaboo bag. Well, that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for joining me on So Sensible, and I hope you check out my next video. Thanks. Oh, sorry. Okay, I'll try again. Hi, welcome to another episode of So Sensible. Today we're going to make a peekaboo.